most of your success in life is going to be determined by how you start your morning and how you end your day. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. And I'm going to show you why it's true and ultimately how to do this in the right way because most guys absolutely fail at how they approach the morning routine piece. It's an absolute disaster. And so we're going to dive into that right now with all the fixes on what to do to master your morning and your evening routine so that you can have greater success in your life. Now, the first thing is, why does the morning and the evening routine matter so much for your success in life? Well, the first thing is the neurobiology behind it, because your brain in the morning and the evening are the most plastic, or there's neuroplasticity, meaning you can actually train your perspectives, train your heart, train your patterns and your habits by doing things very specifically in the morning and in the evening that train your subconscious mind and actually make other things easier. So the upstream, the things that, or excuse me, the downstream, the things that are going to be the outcomes that you're after are going to get easier based on how you approach your morning and your evening routines and what you do inside of that time. Now, if that's true, which it is, then you have to ensure that you're actually using that time. And what is the biggest thing that hinders people from using their morning and their evening routine the right way? Well, the first thing is morning routine porn. And we love to go after, looking at these influencers. We've got, Andrew Huberman and David Goggins and Cameron Haynes and whoever it is. And we love to look at what they're doing for their morning routines and then try to copy it because, quite frankly, they're putting it out on the internet for content and it's great content. But the thing is we are looking at somebody who's at the top and we're over here with no morning routine, essentially at the bottom, trying to model what somebody's doing at the top right now at the bottom. The mistake is the elite routines fallacy, meaning like we try to copy what people do at the top when what we should be doing is copying what they did when they were at the bottom. And I guarantee you, these guys did not start with a 2 hour morning routine with cold plunges and journaling and Bible reading and scripture and prayer and all these things like for 2 hours. That's not what they did. They started with something much simpler. And so we can't begin to master a morning and an evening routine by taking on something that somebody else is doing at the top. That's just not going to work. That's going to fail very quickly. And you can find YouTube videos where people have said, "Hey, I'm going to do what Alex Hormozy does every day for a week and see what happens," and it kills them. It kills them. So we have to reject this idea that we can jump from nothing to the extreme or jump from nothing to the elite version of something. We have this obsession with trying to do calculus when we haven't even learned how to do addition yet. If you're a guy and you don't have a morning routine that you have done every day for the last year, then do not try to adopt somebody's extreme routine. That's going to fail you and it's not going to work. And because it will fail, you're not going to actually do a morning and an evening routine and you're not going to use the subconscious training windows to actually create a better life for yourself by retraining the way that your heart and mind function. That's the goal. So, we have to reject this idea that we can go after the extreme versions of this. What do we do instead? Well, the first thing that we want to think about is how do I adopt something that I can do for the next 3 years? That's the first question. Simple and plain. Simple and plain. If we can't picture ourselves doing this for the next 3 years, it's too big. It just is. Now, I'm a former Army Ranger, did four combat deployments to Afghanistan. And I've had a similar morning routine since 2009 now, getting up at 5 a.m. I've got my Bible reading process. I get my workouts in, all that stuff. And it, what I have today, and what I've had in the most extreme seasons, it didn't start overnight. It started much simpler than that. And so you have to start where you are. If that means a 20-minute walk around the block and you read a couple verses of scripture and you do, some push-ups and sit-ups or something like that, that's great. Start where you are. If you can't imagine yourself having a perfect score 3 years from now on this routine, then it's too big. You need to be able to do it when your kids are sick, when your in-laws are visiting, when you're traveling for work, when crap hits the fan at work and it's just crazy busy. You need to be able to bring it down to something that is micro. So, this is what we love to do. Our subconscious mind knows that we can't achieve the big things anyways, and it loves that because it gives us the ability to let ourselves off the hook for not accomplishing it when we can't sustain it. And so we have to start smaller. We have to reject that particular fallacy. Now, the other thing to think about is how do we want to train our mind? What is it that we actually want to be doing? And why is this tied to success even more so than we give credit for? Well, some of the things that you should be doing every morning is you should plan your number one most important priority for the day. If you have multiple priorities, you have no priorities. That should be the most important thing. It's what is the one thing that if I was on my deathbed and I had no energy and no time, I could only do one task. What is the task that I would choose to do today in that scenario? That's the answer for what is your most important priority. So we need to get focused. And success comes from reducing complexity and increasing consistency in almost every situation. You can look at any industry, any leader of any industry, and you can see that they got there primarily through simplicity and consistency. They executed on the basics, and that's what we need to do. The other thing is what are we training into our mind as identity? What you do more and more and more is training who you are. If you work out every single day, then you are training your subconscious mind to believe that you're the guy that works out every single day. Why? Because there's evidence of it. And so, what are the things you can put in place to create evidence for becoming a certain kind of guy so that you can ultimately become that kind of guy? And so if I want to be somebody that exercises every day, then I'm going to start with like 25 push-ups every single day. If I want to be somebody that reads the Bible every single day, then I'm going to start with like 5 verses every single day. If I'm somebody that wants to pray every single day, I'm going to take those 5 verses and I'm going to pray that back to the Lord in a minute. And I'm just going to say, this is incredible insight, Lord. Thank you for this. Sorry that I'm not doing this. I confess that I'm not doing a good job. Will you do that in my life? Will you help me to live this out? Boom, done. Prayer, done. Scripture, done. Daily priorities, done. Push ups, done. Like, this is why I wrote the Daily 15 because guys need a simple structure and a framework for these things because we try to take on the elite versions and we don't have someone that's giving us the simple version. We don't have someone saying, "Hey, here's the easy path that's actually going to make you win over the long term. Go do this one." It just doesn't exist out there. Everyone's saying, "Here's the cold plunge and the face in the ice and the, body scraping and the like, sauna and the journaling and the like." It's crazy. Everyone is saying that, and we have to reject that. We have to get back to simple. So, this is my invitation to you. If you want a free copy of my book, go take my fatherhood strength assessment. There's going to be two things that happen. You're going to get a really crystal clear picture on where you're at today in four categories: fitness, your family leadership, your faith, and your focus and your follow through. And in those categories, you're going to get a clear pathway. I'm going to give you a 14-day pathway on what to implement right away to go change that based on your answers. That's all free. You can go take that. The second thing is I'm going to give you a free copy of my book. This is a number one Amazon bestseller in two different categories. You'll get a free copy in your email after you take the fatherhood strength assessment. So if you want to master your mornings and your evening, that's in there. The 5 minutes in the evening, the 15 minutes in the morning, what to do, why to do it, how it works, and the incredible things that people are saying about the results that come from doing the basic simple thing every single day. So, reject the morning routine porn, reject trying to copy what the elites are doing at the top when you're at the bottom. No offense. You have to copy what they did at the bottom, which was starting small, growing consistently, adding over time, doing addition before you do calculus so that you can actually win in the long run. That's the goal, is sustainability, because the best morning routine doesn't matter if you can't do it for more than a week. So try something new.